Sam Gyimah.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to thank the member for Leicester North West for her thoughtful remarks. I'm afraid that I think she's already fallen into the trap that was identified by Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister and leader of the Labour Party, in October, 24th of October 2005. He said the system will finally be opened up to real parent power. The reforms will naturally come under sustained attack. Parts of the left will say we are privatizing public services and giving too much to the middle class. Both criticisms are wrong and simply a version of the old levelling down mentality that kept us in opposition for so long. I am afraid to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, listening today to the Honourable Member for Morley and Outward, that he demonstrated the sort of leadership he would be offering them if they voted him as leader of their party. He would take them to the left and they'll be totally off the pace as far as the debates, the important debates and issues in this country are concerned. I thought it was particularly mean-spirited of him to cast doubts on our motives as far as reforming the education system was concerned. He said they wanted the best for all, but somehow we wanted a two-tier system. The unfortunate thing, as my honourable friend, the member for Bristol North West, reminded all of us, is we already have a two-tier system. And the way you can access it is that you either pay for it or you move into the right area. And what we know, looking at all the education attainment, is after 13 years of them promising education, that two-tier system is entrenched. And what is terrible about it is that if you get into it, there is no way of getting out. And that is what we want to do. We want to create a system that opens up opportunity for all. And if they had looked at the bill closely, they said somehow, because we are fast-tracking some schools that have done very well, that unfortunately that is at the expense of those other schools. Now, firstly, every school can apply to become an academy. But secondly, for those that apply to become academies, they have to include in their application how they will help schools that are doing less well than themselves. So I think it's totally specious to keep harping on about the fact that somehow, because some can be fast-tracked, we only care about those schools. Another point that the member for Morley and Outward made is that this bill is deeply divisive and undermines social cohesion. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think uniformity is the same as social cohesion. And we can't, and I don't know what he wants, whether he wants schools that are uniformly bad or schools that are uniformly good. I think I know what those on this side of the house are striving for. And no one in this house can say that the current system is delivering the sort of educational attainment that a country like ours needs. And again, when he talks about it being deeply divisive, what he didn't address was the fact that schools cannot change their admissions procedures once they become academies. So there is no chance of a school applying to become an academy and then further down the line introducing selection. Somehow he glossed over that point so he could go over the old dividing lines as he sees them. But he spent a lot of time on capital spending and building schools for the future. Because like the attack dog that he is, he's been going on about that for 2 weeks and he kept on going on about it. But what I would say is the choice we face here is not whether we need shiny new buildings for people to learn in. The choice we face is whether the education that we provide kids is good enough for them to attain and have confidence in their futures. And that is what has been lacking from that side of the house. And it's about good teaching. It's about discipline. It's about educational attainment. And it is above all the confidence that the skills that we give kids would give them the chance, to hope to know that when they leave school, they can pursue the path that they choose. I mean, the member for Stoke Central spoke and said it's not about databases, it's not about data sets, and I agree with him, but it's about having the right ethos, the right educational standards, and allowing the professionals to be able to determine that. Now, some people have said in this debate, and I mentioned the member for Beverley and Holderness, and I also mentioned the member for Liverpool West and Derby, that somehow we should veer away from changing structures. It is about enabling individuals to flourish. But it's not just about structures. Individuals operate within a structure. The enterprising head teacher who wants to be able to have control over budgets, who wants to be able to decide how they pay their teachers, who wants to be able to decide what the curriculum should be, who wants to engage with their students in a different way, cannot do that with the current structures that we've got. And that is why we need a fundamental change in the structures we've got. If you're a parent today and you really want to change something in your school, by writing to the local authority, you've got no chance. But in this new structure, you have a better chance because you can exercise quasi-commercial pressure on the school. And I think that is a good thing. But also, I talked about leadership. And for all the teachers to know that somehow the buck stops with them. It doesn't stop with a county council. It doesn't stop with some sort of government policy. The buck stops with them to deliver the right education for the students that are in their school. And if they fail to do it, somewhere further down the line, what they will find is that parents vote with their feet. And I think that is the right thing in terms of encouraging high attainment and higher standards and driving it through our education system and arresting the decline that the Secretary of State identified in his speech earlier on. But having said all of that, I'll be the first to acknowledge that it is not perfect somehow. It's not prescriptive. You know, for this to work, we need to make sure that we have a lot of vested interest working with us. And there is no getting away from that, whether it's local authorities, whether it's civil servants, but also unions, or whether it's also teachers. There are a number of teachers who liked the grant maintained system, but then found out that in 1998, when a new government came in, that system was abolished, and so are nervous. And I think we need to do everything we can to give them the confidence that the freedoms that we seek to give them this time are real, that the freedoms that we're giving them would allow teachers, would allow head teachers, and would allow parents who have a vision to implement that vision and ensure that we have higher educational attainment, which is what education should be about. Not shiny new buildings, not going back to, oh yes, this is all going to punish the poor, but it's making sure that somehow we get better attainment. That is what I got from my education, and I think that's what we've all got, and that is what we've got to drive through our system. Thank you.
Yeah.